Hi, Sandy here. I'm going to do a glue book flip through. I just finished another glue book. Not this one. I just wanted to show you. I have done 22 of these. I do 8.5 by 11 pages, and then I bind them. You can see where I've sewn them. So I've done 22 of these, and I've done 4 of these. I find these old scrapbooks at thrift shops, and I've done 4 of these. These I almost always do 25 pages covered on both sides, so 50 pages. These usually have about 30 pages in them, so they're about 60 pages finished. And most people use pre-existing books. They use all kinds of books, and they take out some pages so it doesn't get too fat, and then they fill it with their own stuff. I've never done that until now. This is my first one using a real book, and it probably won't be my last. This is the English Garden Diary. I removed a few pages, and now it's finished in full. It's alligatoring a little bit, but not bad. I can live with that. That's the reason why I've hesitated to make them in a real book, because I don't want to make it too fat. So, but this worked out. This is good. And each page, this is the inside cover. Each page had a full-size picture of an English garden on this side, and then there was writing across the top. So on every page I put a strip of scrapbook paper. And then on this page was a 7-day calendar for the week. And so I've covered this side of the page. And this has 31 pages. I'm not sure if I counted wrong. How could it have an odd number of pages? Well, I don't know. Maybe I counted wrong. But so that would be 62 pages, unless I counted wrong. And I used birds and people outdoors and flowers and butterflies and just various nature, little animals. So here's a little girl with her dog and birds, and here's a girl with around a bunch of plants that's just perfect, and butterflies, and I just added a few things on this side and covered this whole side on every page. Don't really have a lot to say, but we'll just flip through and see each page. I kind of mixed it up. I have so many flowers and so many birds, it's just crazy. This is from a magazine of a drawing of a planned garden. Planning your garden. Here's a squirrel with a mini wheelbarrow. I had some a Boyd's Bear catalog with the figurines and the stuffed animals, and I had fussy cut all of them. I have those, so I used some of the animals. There's a bunny laying by some flowers. I love Victorian, so I tried to make it mostly vintage, but not completely vintage. Oh, that's nice, heart-shaped. I'm so busy concentrating on my work, I forgot to. I didn't really study the pictures all that much. I had a Barbie catalog, and there was 2 Barbies in there. This is is that an iris flower? And then you'll see a little further on a Barbie in a rose dress. So that's certainly garden themed. So the book is definitely garden theme. This is my first garden themed book, and it's not going to be my last. This is from some scrapbook paper I just bought. It's so pretty. Here's a little scene with some rocks and a pond and a fountain. I use landscaping pictures. Here's some stuffed bunnies. I just recently got some new scrapbooking stuff, and I got a package of die cuts, and it said bonjour in there, and I cannot imagine myself using that word anywhere in my scrapbooking, but I added it to this page, bonjour, and I think it's just really nice. I have a book of baby animals. A lot of them are zoo animals like rhinoceros and stuff. But I did have the bunnies, and I also have a deer, which you'll see further into the book. So here's some flower gardens and flowers, and this says, a kiss of the sun for pardon, the song of the birds for mirth. One is nearer God's heart in a garden than anywhere else on earth. It says blush and bloom. Here's some Boyd's Bears that I cut out. And I have tons of butterfly and flower stickers. Lots of other stickers too. And I want to use a lot of those up, so I just went through several pages and added a lot of stickers. This is cute, a lady rolling another lady in a wheelbarrow like they're in a race with a duck in there. Here's some rubber boots with some autumn leaves in it. Birds in a bird bath. This is a little Boyd's Bear dressed as a bumblebee. This, I made some clusters. And my next video, I promise, very soon, probably today, I'm going to make a video making these clusters. I made a dozen of them. And because a lot of times on my scrapbook, on my glue book pages, I just want to have something to fill in a space, and so I'll take several things and kind of cluster them together. So if I can have some pre-made clusters, bam, they're ready to go. Here's a little fairy. Sometimes my pages kind of stick together, so I got to be careful. But over the several days, they do get better. Here's a little girl sitting in some grass and flowers. Vintage photos. Here's half a barrel on wheels with flowers in it. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. I added a lot of birds. Here's a frog with a gazing ball. A cluster. I didn't make that. This is how I do my clusters on my pages. A little girl with a lamb. This is from, I think, a 1971 magazine that I harvested. You don't see these coupons anymore to order things. Tulip bulbs, 3 cents each. Very vintage. I like the look of it. And here's a bird and they're kind of glittery butterflies, but they kept falling off my page, so I got them on my sticker pages, so I glued these down good. I don't have to deal with that no more with those particular two. Excuse me. Here's some irises. Here's a outline of a child with a dog and some flowers. See, I added some stickers on there. Bloom where you are planted. A lot of this is from a scrapbook sheet that I bought where you cut it apart. This, plant happiness. Here's a little postcard coupon of a girl watering a plant. This also from that scrapbook page. Garden. Here, this is a Boyd's Bear little watering can figurine. Little girl with daisies and a bird. This is also from that collection. See, they look good together. Here's a postcard from a scrapbooking page that I cut apart with roses on it. Here's 2 birds. Here's that other deer, that other animal I used from the baby animals book. It's so sweet. I cut it out and I glued it over and added the flowery background. And a bird. Life. Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace. Here's a little angel with a gazing ball. I cut a lot of this stuff out of catalogs. If it inspires you, use it. Here's a bird on a stump. Here's some vintage people standing outside with trees behind them. This is a butterfly sticker, and it's not loose. It's made this way. And if this eventually falls off someday, it's going to look just fine. Here's a bird on a plastic camera bird feeder. I've had this picture of these turtles on a log for a while. This is one of the earliest things I cut out when I started glue booking. You know, I just go through the newspaper and magazines and anything, cutting out pictures that I find kind of interesting. And I use that picture. It just makes me so happy when I use stuff that I've had a long time. I added a frog and ribbit and a turtle. A sweet little girl there. This is a postcard. Not sure what I would actually do with that when scrapbooking, but I just added it to the glue page. It's outdoors, nature, and I added this sticker on top of it. Here's another vintage. I get these vintage pictures from Reminisce magazine and Good Old Days magazine. I just love old photographs. Here's an old fence with flowers, a butterfly, and here's a caterpillar, and I don't think that's his eye. It's just a mark, but it looks kind of cartoonish, but it's a real butterfly. And then I added a circle and a watering can. This was something out of a catalog. It's a figurine of a little tree with a bird on it, or a birdhouse with a cat on top and the birds. And then this is something out of a catalog. It's a leaf with a little light on it and a dog, and it's got the solar panel on it, so it would light up at night. I added a circle and put a butterfly on it. I used a scene with flowers, and then this is this is part of an old calendar, and this is not a sticker. I did not add that. It was on there. Don't forget to get out and smell the roses, the flowers. Here's a dog in a patch of yellow daisies. This is a sticker I've had for years and years, and yes, I finally used it. I rarely give away stuff or donate it. Sometimes I do, but not very often. I try to use stuff. I sort things into categories, and eventually I'll use it. Here's a little Victorian picture of some ladies and a little girl in their baby buggies, prams, I guess you would call them. Here's a frog inside of a hollow log. Here's somebody's landscaping and a flower. This is from scrapbook paper, a vintage ephemera of spring flowers. Here's another one of my clusters that I made, and then I just added this to it. Now my daughter's 19 now and in college, but when she was younger we would buy those paws Easter egg coloring kits, and one year it had a lot of little ducks and bunnies and stuff, and I have cut them out hoping to use them on her scrapbook pages, and I used a few of them over the years, and this is one of the last ones. And I used it. I mean, I probably had this at least 10 years or more. Yes, I finally used it. It looks so cute. The duck and the tulips. Here's a little girl flying on a hornet or wasp. Here's a little garden scene. This is actually a flag that you could order. Some eggs, bird eggs. There's a bird. Somebody's garden. Here's this is a Boyd's bear little figurine, and this is Boyd's bear and a tag, and I inked this one up to make it stand out better against the background and give it a vintage look. There's some birds. This is a postcard. Well, it's postcard size. It's not really a postcard. And I don't do a lot with the postcards, so when I find an opportunity to use a postcard, I'm pretty happy about that. Here's a vintage picture of some ladies all dressed up with the tractor. Here's a garden. Here's a vintage drawing of a girl by an apple tree. I've had these for years. This is out of a catalog. There's something you can hang on the wall, and there's flowers in them. Frogs. I'm not sure what I would have ever done with the frogs if not for this garden book. Part of the reason I started doing glue books The main reason is because I got caught up with my scrapbooking, and so I needed something else to do, and then it was also a way to use up a lot of stuff that I normally would not have used on my scrapbooks that, you know, just didn't fit in with what I was scrapbooking. Here's an autumn page. There's an autumn scene. So I added this picture of the bridge with autumn leaves. This is, both of these are graphic 45. There's an owl and a bird. And I have a lot of leaves in my Thanksgiving autumn section, and so I use those. I don't use those very often. Everyone must take time to sit and watch the leaves turn. Here's that Barbie with the rose dress. There's a rose garden and flowers. I didn't add anything else on here. That's alright. There's a bird's nest with birds and some flowers. Oh, this flower has a little tiny frog in it. The rose has a little tiny frog in there. Better not be a snake. And I added a ladybug and a rose. This book literally took me about a week to do. I'm used to those bigger pages, and I had so much stuff readily available to me. And I just reorganized my two of my books where I keep my ephemera, my stuff, my clippings, so it was easy to find stuff. Here's a cute little picture of two little kids from reminisce or good old days. Another layout of a garden. Bird. This is a bunny made out of dung that you could order. There was a snail and another animal too. But hey, I'll use anything on my books. Here's a little garden scene with a bench. This is a mailbox, and this is graphic 45. Birds and Blooms magazine. This is Birds and Blooms. I just really like that. And this is from the editor's page of Birds and Blooms. So I get one of these every time I get another Birds and Blooms magazine to harvest. This is from like a 1972 magazine. I have like 6 of these lawnmower pictures. Very vintage, very vintage. And here's a lawn, so we gotta have the lawnmower. This is a greeting card with a hummingbird by a window. This was not really very vintage, but I just liked it, and it had this bonnet attached to it, so when I cut it out, I cut out the bonnet with it. This is a playing card of a couple walking through a garden or a park. This is Boyd's Bear. Here's a gazebo. I literally just finished this book right probably 20 minutes before I started making this video. Here's a pretty little girl and ladies, and this is, oh, I know who draws these. I can't think of her name, but she's just a sweet little girl. I used up one of my stickers here, and I added these. There's a butterfly and a butterfly sticker. I found like these were like little greeting cards, little thank you cards or something. And I have several of these, so I've got to use one of my raccoons. Here's another autumn page. Change is a good thing. Embrace it. It's got autumn leaves there. This is graphic 45. There's autumn leaves. Autumn. Oh, autumn, it says. Here's a pretty little country road with the autumn leaves. Owls are good for autumn. Here's a nice autumn farm scene. This is graphic 45. This is a Boyd's Bear, a little bumblebee or bug, whatever it is, got the little antenna. Here's another one of them dung. There's a snail, a dung snail. There's I believe that's a drawing, not a photo, of a raccoon. Here's a scene with a watering can fountain. Here's a scene with lattice. This is a drawing how to build a fancy gate, and I added a couple of bunny stickers. I made these a while back. I did a video. I had lots of little teeny tiny tags. These were the smaller. They were slightly bigger that I've had for a long time. And what do you do with them? So I played with them on a video, and I made several little tags because I would have never used them as is. So I just added stickers. Here's some little duckies. I went through my Easter stuff to find garden stuff, and these are Easter chicks, but now they're everyday chicks. Chicks live every day besides Easter. Okay. Here's a picture of a turtle. Graphic 45 here. The flowers, it says beautiful. I chose this picture here because it's kind of the same plant. I don't know a lot about plants. Here's a bird with a cat cut out. And I've had this for a long time, Cabbage Patch Kid. What better use for it than in a garden book? Pluck the thistle and plant a flower. And I added some scrapbook paper behind her. This is another one of them greeting cards I had the raccoon, and now here's a little mouse in a cup. I added that. I've had this Mayflowers. Wow. I've been scrapbooking 19 years, and this is one of the earlier things. Well, I haven't scrapbooked any Mayflowers, but finally I got to use it. I just love it when I use stuff that I've had for many years. So here's a bird. Here's a Victorian family sitting outside on the ground. A frog, a dog with some cats outside. Just a little piece of scrapbook paper. This was from some scrapbook paper, and I cut it out. Sometimes I fussy cut right up to the edge, but when there's a lot of details like this, you can't really cut those out. So I leave a little white border around the edge, and sometimes if you put that on a print, it'll stand out more. You know, if I had cut right up to the edge, it would blend in a little bit more with this background, and I don't want that. I want it to stand out. This is from scrapbook paper. Here's an old picture of a lady outside. Here's a cat. I assume it's a squirrel. It could be a raccoon inside of a birdhouse. Here's a Victorian mansion with people in the lawn. Here's a flower bed with a real bed. Here's another vintage photo. Some ladies with a dog. This was from a scrapbook paper. The cut of parts, you know. And I put that on some green paper and used my fancy scissors. I used some bird scrapbook paper across there. I had these foxes, and I haven't used them on any of my gluebook pages till now. And they're kind of a garden theme. You might find those in your garden if you live out near the country or anywhere, I don't know. I believe they're foxes, pretty sure. Anyway, they're cute anyway. This is graphic 45. These two are Boyd's Bears figurines. There's a nice garden. There's a garden with a tree. Here's a chipmunk. I believe it's a chipmunk in a pot of flowers. This is out of a catalog. It's a metal sign that you could buy and put in your yard. I believe that's the last page. This was such a fun book to make, and so fast and easy. And I will definitely make another garden book because I downloaded these a couple of weeks ago from Pinterest, and this is how I print them out. And I just printed them today because last Saturday it rained, and I had the windows open and the window right behind my desk, and it rained overnight and my printer got wet. And I've had it unplugged and sitting out for a week, and there's still water underneath that glass, the scanner. And not much, just kind of like condensation under there. So today we're going to go buy another new printer, but this morning I plugged that printer in and tried it out and scanned, and it worked. And I printed out these pictures that I had saved to print, and it worked. So this is for my next garden book. I got fairies and bunnies and watering can and garden stuff for my garden, pretty little deer. But I will absolutely make another garden book because I have all of these flower stickers. These are stickers. These are not stickers. These I would glue on, and I want to use up some of them. I've got 2 envelopes of them, and I want to use some of them up. Don't ever want to run out, of course. But this is what I do. Now, these were cutouts, die cuts, but a lot of these I cut out from stuff, and or they came with other stuff. And a lot of times this is a sticker right here, and I cut it out still on the backing, and I glue them on, and that's how I've always done it. But I tried doing it on wax paper, and there's pros and cons to it, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I want to get these used up anyway. So then I've got all these butterflies stickers, and I've got 3 sheets on this wax paper, so I want to get those used up. And then I've got my flowers, scenery, and houses. This is for my glue book stuff, magazine clippings and stuff, and I've got it all organized. These are larger flowers, like full magazine pages or half magazine pages. I got those in a page protector, and I've made larger labels on the side. This is just masking tape, and I've been using this for 20 years, and I've never had them fall off or give me any problem. It works great for me. It's very cost effective. I've fussy cut a lot of stuff, and then I've got a lot of squares and rectangles. I did a lot of these, take flowers and pictures of flowers and put them on paper and with a colored background, and use my fancy scissors. So I've got all of these, and it's not a perfect system, but it works good for me. When I've got new magazine clippings and stuff, I'll just stick them in there and close the book. And then once or twice a year, I'll go through and I'll organize. Now, I've taken a lot of stuff off this page, and you end up with a lot of empty spaces, and things fall off because just a little tiny bit of glue. I want them to be easy to get off. But this works for me because I can just flip through and see what I have. So I've got the flowers, I've got porch deck patio, I've got landscaping, I've got scenery, which is more natural stuff without much man-made stuff in it. I've got houses, Victorian houses, and castles here. I've got country, like farm stuff, log cabins. I've got destination, etc. Like I've got Mount Rushmore and stuff like that. I ended up with a lot of boats, lighthouses, and stuff. I save calendar pages. I save all kinds of stuff. So I've got that. And then I've got a city section. This isn't really city, but just. And then I've got this book, which I just reorganized too. I have like 4 more books I'm working on getting organized. This is my animals with birds, butterflies, dogs, cats, etc. And I just recently moved my bugs here, and I'm using a lot more bugs. Should have added more. I tried to use some bugs in my book I just finished, and I should have gotten back to that more. Butterflies, I wish I could find more butterflies. Birds, again, the full-size or partial size magazine pages. This is stuff I need to cut out or do something with. stickers, birds that I have fussy cut. I've got some bird houses, then all kinds of bird stuff. So I got so much of this, I can make another glue book. Then cats, and I can use cats and dogs on my pages. These are my clippings of cats and dogs. I try to get stuff fussy cut ahead of time so that when I'm ready to use something, I'm just, there it is, ready to go. Because if I need to fussy cut it, I'm like, no, oh, that one looks good. This one I fussy cut and the tail fell off. So I glued it on there, and hopefully when I glue it onto a page, I can get it off without tearing it, and it'll turn out well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my glue book. And, oh, my next video, these are the, I made 12 of these, and I've used 3 of them. These are my clusters I told you I made, and I'm going to make some more. And I made 12 at once. So I'm going to do a video and make some more of these, because I really like these. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.